Welcome to another episode of Cooking with the Snackmaster. Today, we're going to be doing, I can't even wait, I'm so excited. We're going to be doing Southern fried chicken. I love Southern fried chicken. I'm from New York, but in my heart, when it comes to food, when it comes to my gut, forget about my heart, I'm a Southern boy. Southern fried chicken, gumbo like I made a couple episodes ago, sausage and gravy, biscuits and gravy, homemade buttermilk biscuits, collard greens, black eyed peas. Oh my God, this is my kind of food. I love this stuff. People in the South know how to eat. So what we're going to do today with this chicken is I'm going to show you how to coat it, I'm going to show you how to fry it, I'm going to show you how to cut it up. Because you see, you want to use a whole chicken. Why do you want to use a whole chicken? Two reasons. First of all, economy. It's cheaper, okay? You go to the butcher store, you go to the grocery store, you go to your ubiquitous market store that's everywhere, and if you buy chicken that's already cut up in pieces for you to fry, well, it costs you more money because somebody else already did the work. This is a very easy process, so you want to do it yourself. Another reason is because, you know what? You get little bonuses, you get little gifts when you cut it up yourself. Something that the butcher keeps, okay? We're going to get into that in a little while. So first, let's go get ourselves a fresh chicken. What do you say? Okay, that chicken might be a little too fresh for you. Alright, well, let's see what we can do then to find something else. When I do chicken, I like to do gloves. These you can buy at any grocery store or pharmacy. Cost you anywhere from $3 to $6 for a box of 50 of them. Or, next time you have a doctor's appointment, they're sitting you in the room for 20 minutes, swipe a few, throw them in your purse, throw them in your bag, whatever you got, throw them in your pocket. Trust me, you're paying for them anyway. So, what do we got here? We're not going to use that chicken because he's a little too fresh for us. So, what do we have? We have this chicken. Oh, look at him. Still a little damp because that's right, I washed him. That's what you see dripping on the board. It's okay. He's washed, he's clean, he's patted dry. He's ready to go. So, what do we need to do when we're going to cut up this chicken? What do we need? We need a knife. So, let me go get a knife here. How about this? What? That's not a knife. That's a knife. Oh, well, you do have a point there, bad Aussie impersonator. But you're not completely right. You see, this is a knife, but this is a paring knife. This is a knife that is used for paring down vegetables, paring down fruits, doing small detailed work, doing small garnish work, turning little radishes into roses and whatnot. But this guy over here, he's right that this is not the right knife for this application. So we're going to get rid of that guy for now. What knife do we need? We need a couple things. First of all, we need a boning knife. Now we talked about this in the last episode with the Chinese ribs too. This is a knife that is used for separating meat away from the bones of animals. That's why we call it a boning knife. No, not that kind of boning. This is a family show, kids. Alright? But we have here a long, slender blade and a fine point so that we can work in between the joints and we can use the edge of the blade to really kind of separate the meat from the bones if that's what we're looking to do. So we need the boning knife. What else do we need? We need kitchen shears. These are kitchen shears. So what are we going to do with these kitchen shears? We're going to take the kitchen shears and we're going to take our chicken, we're going to flip him over because that's where we want to start because he has a backbone here. We're going to cut that backbone out using the shears. Why? Because right now the chicken is a little round. We talked about this in the last episode. Round things that roll around and cutting boards and sharp objects, they don't mix. You put all those together and you have things rolling around, you end up missing fingers. Once again, we like our fingers where they are. So we want to take out this bone so that we can make this flat. And by the way, this is the first of the little prizes that the butcher gets to keep. If we have this backbone, we're not going to use it anyway for fried chicken. I don't anyway. I don't know anybody who does. But if you take this guy and you put it in the freezer back there, what do you have? You're starting to put together a bag full of stock pot ingredients. I keep telling you we're going to make stock in another episode. We will. You need to have bones in order to make stock. So we take the backbone, we take the wings, because it's not a lot of meat on the wings. We freeze all that, and we can make stock. So we do need one other knife though, and for that, bad Aussie guy, give me that. Thank you very much. This is a knife. We are going to use this too, because with this, we can separate the breastbone. We can cut through with that. The knife here, the boning knife, we're not going to use this knife for trying to separate and cut through the middle of the breastbone because this knife isn't really built for that sort of application. The blade isn't big enough. You can't really put your weight on it the way you can with your chef's knife. So you need all three of these tools. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do, like I said, we're going to cut out this backbone. So let's try this here. Alright, you're just going to have it turned over like this, and you're going to hear bone crunching. You know why? Because you're crunching bones. You're cutting through the ribs here, but that's okay. Right? And it comes apart very easily, as you can see, right up the back. Boom, first side done. Then we take the other side, and we're just going to go right up the same area on the other side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to separate this back from the chicken. He doesn't need it anymore. Trust me, he's fine. So, get through here. Watch your fingers, because just like this is easily cutting through the chicken bones, but cut through your bones too. So, be careful. Be careful and you'll be fine. There. See that? Take him, and like I said, we're going to save him for our stock pot. Now what do we have? Now we have a flattened out chicken. With one piece over here, one piece over here. He's all spread out nice. And we can go to the next bit. Now we want this knife. We're going to take the chef's knife, right down the middle. This is the keel bone or the breastbone, and you want to separate that. You want to go right in the middle. So you take your knife carefully, because you're trying to cut through a bone here. But there it goes. See, it's not that tough. Cut through, and you just finish and separate that like this and like this, and you have two chicken halves. Look at that. That's amazing. That's chicken. So what are we going to do now? We need to separate the rest. Let's get rid of our shears. We don't need them anymore. Now it's time for our boning knife. First, let's separate the thigh and the leg from the breast. How do we do that? Well, it's actually very easy. You're just going to take your boning knife right through here. You're going to feel around. Use your fingers. That's what they're there for. Use your fingers before you use your knife. Don't do it at the same time. Alright? You find your way around in here. You're going to separate these bones. Separate the meat like this. And look, thigh and leg. See? This is not rocket science, kids. Sometimes you might find, if you have a whole chicken, some unwanted goodies in here. They're not a problem. You just get rid of them. Take your knife. More giblety type stuff, but stuff that we don't really want for this, because we're making fried chicken. Now, what do we do to separate these guys? Me, I like these separated. And my boy, who eats the legs, he wants it separated too. So I got to separate the legs from the thighs. So how do we do that? We're going to feel this. We're going to squeeze the two together like this. We're going to feel in the middle until we can feel where that joint is. And this might take a second. It's okay, especially if you're new at it, and you're going to have to be practiced. And then you're just going to start to, when you feel and you think you got it, you're going to start to slice inside here. Carefully now, because you're holding this in your hand. You slice right through that joint, which I just did. And then you're going to come back and just take your bone knife through. Separate, and cut, separate, and cut, and look. We have a chicken leg. Check that out. Awesome. So we have that, and we have a chicken thigh. Now, if you want to trim off some of that extra meat or fat, if you think that that's something you don't want, knock yourself out, take it off. Me, I like the fat on the thigh. Fat is flavor. I feel a little extra bone here, right here on the edge. Again, you got to pay attention to what you're doing. You got to feel the meat. So I have this bone, and I took him off because I don't want him. There, now he's a little more trimmed up. Now he's nice. Alright, we have that there, we have that there. Take the other side of the chicken, and we have the breast, we have the wing. How do we want to separate those? A very similar fashion, okay? We're going to take our boning knife here. We're just going to start cutting around and cutting around, and eventually we're going to feel where the joint is. We're going to pop that guy out like that, see? He pops right out of there. And once he's popped out, you just take your knife, again carefully because your hand is there because you're holding the piece of chicken and because you are bringing the knife towards your body. But it's okay if you do it carefully. And there you go. Now we have a wing. Now me, like I said, I usually like to fry the wings up. I just like to get 6 pieces of chicken. If you want to get 8, go ahead. If you do want to use the wing, here's the tip. You take the wing, you leave the wing tip on, you bring the wing tip forward around the drumstick, and you hold it forward like that. Now it has a closed piece of chicken that you can bread and fry more easily. But me, I'm going to use some in my stock pot. So, that's one side. And we can do the other side in the same exact way. Alright, so there we go. We have a nice, beautiful, carved up piece of chicken. It only took us a few minutes to do. It saved us a lot of money because I bought this guy for 99 cents a pound at my mart store. You can buy it for probably about the same price. That's what you want to do. It's going to cost you, for fried chicken, it's going to cost you anywhere from $1 to $4 more per meal if you do this. Now, this also costs 99 cents a pound because I used your average chicken that you get in the store. It's probably grown in a factory. It's probably grown in a little tiny cage. If you're a person who is opposed to those sort of things, that's fine. God bless you. If you like organic, free-range chicken that costs $7 a pound and you can afford such things, great. Please go buy it and please eat that chicken. I applaud those kind of things. Me, I'm a regular guy. I have a regular budget. I make regular food. So this costs 99 cents a pound. I'm okay with it. So, now that we got it cut up, we're all ready to go. Next thing is let's get to the frying. Alright kids, we're back and we're now getting ready to start actually coating and frying this chicken. We're going to get this prepared to fry. Well, how do we do that? Well, Southern fried chicken is a little different. It's not your classic breading station. It's not your egg, flour, breadcrumb thing. That's not Southern. Southern fried chicken is just coating it in flour. Well, how do we do that? Well, what I like to do is I like to shake the chicken up in a bag. That works. It actually gets it very well coated and puts you in business. So what I'm going to do here is take some flour that I have right here. Some flour. I'm going to dump the flour into this bag. Not all of it. You don't need a whole lot. We're only doing 6 pieces of chicken here. So get in, I don't know, what do you call that? Maybe a cup and a half of flour, something like that. Cup and a half. That's about all for now, because we're not going to need that much. What goes in next? Well, you got to season your flour. Flour doesn't taste like anything by itself. I got salt. You want to be a little bit liberal with your salt, because again, this is a coating, so it's not like you're directly salting your food. This is going to blend in with the flour and with all these other ingredients. So we have the salt. We need black pepper, and this is one of the few times when I don't use fresh cracked black. I don't want to spend the next 20 minutes grinding enough pepper into this flour to season it properly to get enough pepper on the chicken, because chicken needs a lot of pepper. Let's put that over there. What's next? Garlic powder. And again, with these, if you want to get out a measuring spoon, I don't use measuring spoons. I would say you're doing maybe roughly a teaspoon. No, it's more than a teaspoon. It's at least 2 teaspoons of each seasoning. Probably at least 2 to 3 tablespoons of salt. Probably about a tablespoon of pepper. The rest, here's next. Cinnamon, believe it or not. Not a lot. Maybe a teaspoon there. But just add something. And when you're eating the chicken, you don't quite know what it is, but there's a little sweetness in the background that I like. So I use that. And here's another key. Paprika. You have to have paprika. The 3 main ingredients, the main seasonings for fried chicken is salt, black pepper, and paprika. You have to have those. The rest of these, they're kind of up to taste. Me, I like them, I use them, I like it flavorful. So, Paprika, you also want a good amount, probably close to a tablespoon of that. Gives good flavor, gives good color. What else? Onion powder. And again with that, probably 1 to 2 teaspoons. That's good there. What else do we have here? Oh, we have here ground red pepper. This is cayenne. Want a little bit of cayenne. Fried chicken should have a little bit of a bite to it. I don't use a lot because my son is going to eat this, and I don't want to make it too spicy because I want him to enjoy the food too. So for that, I used maybe a teaspoon. What else? Coriander. This is a weird one. This is a little different. This is one of my little things. With this one, I actually surprised my professor, my teacher back when I was doing culinary arts school. He had my fried chicken. I brought it in for him. I brought him in a thigh, put it on his desk, and I said, hey, apple for the teacher. He liked that. He came out while we were cooking, while we were working on our projects. And all of a sudden he looks at me and he says, what's that floral note? And I said, oh, the floral note. Well, that would be the coriander. He liked it. You'll like it too. Last thing I'm going to put in here is a little bit of ground thyme. It's a very savory herb. So it's very important to fried chicken. After we do that, we're going to seal up our bag here. Do that a couple of turns like that. Combine everything. After we combine it, we're going to put in one other little secret of mine. You're going to think this is crazy, but it's not. It works. I have here a little bit of sugar. And what's the sugar going to do? Well, it adds a little bit of sweetness, obviously. What else does it do? It helps with browning. That's right. When you brown something, you get what's called the Maillard reaction, caramelization. You want your skin to caramelize and brown up nice with southern fried chicken. So the sugar helps that just a little bit, but you got to be careful and just use a little bit of sugar like I just did, because if you use a lot of sugar, it's going to burn. Sugar burns real easy. I just added maybe a tablespoon to this entire mix here. Let me show you one other little trick that I do. I'm going to go get this thing. Hang on over here. What's this? This is a container that has some of this mix in it already from last time I made chicken. You know why? Spices are expensive. So you don't want to have to like put 6 pieces of chicken in here, and if you have this much left over, throw it in the garbage, which you'll have to do if raw chicken touches it. We do worry about safety and sanitation here. If this touches raw chicken, anything you don't use goes in the trash. So what I like to do to avoid that is, now that I have this coated up, I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to dump it in here. And I will save it. Then, when I have what looks like enough for me to start coating my chicken, then I'll start coating the chicken. And if I need more, I have it right here. I'll just put some more back in the bag. But this way I don't waste anything else. There. So now to me, that looks like a good amount to start with. So we're going to put our reserve back here, and we're going to start getting our chicken. Let me get this out of the way. Put that there. Put that there. What's next? Okay, we have chicken. Now, let's talk about the setup we have here, because that's important too. I have here 2 racks. One here, one here. This rack, I'm going to take the coated chicken before I cook it and put it on this rack. It's going to sit here and it's going to dry for about a half an hour in the air. What does that do? It helps the flour to adhere and to dry and to coat the chicken and adhere to the skin. If you don't do that, you're going to have 2 problems. You're going to have all your flour going off into the oil. It's not going to coat your chicken nicely. Plus your oil is going to be dirty. It's going to be full of flour. You're going to have to change your oil. So we're going to start here with that. This rack has a different purpose. This rack is where the chicken is going to come out of the fryer after we're done frying it. This is where the chicken's going to rest. You see how underneath there's air. Air can come up, air can come down. I don't have the paper towels right on top of this. Why? Because then you basically have the chicken sitting and resting in its own fat. You don't want that, because that's going to make it moist on the bottom and it's going to take away the crisp that you worked so hard to create. So We have one set up here like this for the raw chicken, one set up here for the cooked chicken. We want to keep those separately because we have to have separate raw and separate cooked things. We're going to have different tongs, we're going to have different utensils, because you can't touch cooked chicken with tongs that you touch raw chicken with unless you like feeding your family salmonella. I don't. Alright kids, so let's start with this already, okay? We have chicken here, we have the raw tongs, we have our 6 pieces of chicken that we just cut up ourselves, and we're going to start here by taking one piece in there like that, another piece in there like that, and another piece in here like this. That's probably good enough to get started. You don't want to overcrowd your bag, and you can go ahead and seal that up. And in this instance, you don't want to actually push the air out of the bag, because the air is going to create room for your chicken to move around when you're shaking it up like this and getting it coated. See that? What I'm accomplishing right now with different tongs and the way that I'm doing everything is also, I don't have to touch the chicken anymore. I'm not going to get chickeny hands, salmonella hands, which I do not want. So, let's go in here and fish out one piece of chicken, shake off the excess, put it on our rack. Let's get another piece, shake off the excess flour, put it on our rack. Last piece, same thing. Shake off the excess, put it down on the rack. So that's the first half. See how it's nicely coated? We're going to let that dry on there. Let's do our last 3 pieces of chicken. 1, 2, and 3. Put down the tongs on the raw chicken plate. Seal up the bag. Roll that around, which helps to create air in it when you roll the top over like that. And again, the air is giving us room to move around and cook the chicken. It's a lot of fun. We're shaking. We're dancing. We're making chicken. And now, we're going to pop this guy out right here. And we're in business with the other pieces. Nicely coated. They look beautiful. I can't wait to eat them. So we have that, and you know what? There even still was a little bit of flour in here, but again, that has touched raw chicken, so that's garbage. We can't use that anymore. So we're going to let this sit for about a half an hour out here in the air, let it dry, and then we're going to fry it. I know what you're thinking. You can't leave chicken on the counter. That's going to get bacteria. No, it's not, all right? There is a temperature danger zone. You're right if you know something about that, but here's the thing about the temperature danger zone. It's all about time in the temperature danger zone. This has a good couple of hours before it's going to become dangerous where we can't eat it. Plus, it's raw. So if it sits like this raw for 30 minutes in the room temperature of my house, it's not going to hurt anything. The chicken will be fine, and then we're going to cook it in 360-degree oil for over 20 minutes. It'll be cooked. It'll be up to proper temperature. Any bacteria that could happen in a half hour is going to be gone way before we eat it. So we don't have to worry about that. Let's let this sit. Let's let it rest. We'll see you when it's time to start frying. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's been 30 minutes. The chicken is dry. You can actually see, if you take a look in here, how it's dried off now. The flour is dried onto the chicken. It's adhering. So now it's time to fry. How do we do that? Well, I do it with this machine right here. This is a deep fryer. This is a very handy piece of kitchen equipment right here. If you don't have one of these, you can still do this. You can do it on your stovetop. You need a very heavy pot because safety is important. You need a deep fry thermometer, and you need to be able to watch it very carefully. You're going to have to stay over it and pay real close attention because you're not going to be able to control the temperature very well on there. When you're doing deep frying, it's all about controlling your temperature. When you have a deep fryer, it has a thermostat. It keeps the temperature even. When you're frying, you want 360 degrees. That's the perfect temperature for frying. So I'm going to use this. I suggest you get one. You can get one of these at any one of your ubiquitous Mart stores for about $28. That's what I paid for mine. It's worth the $28. So what are we gonna do? Now it's time to cook the chicken. We're gonna pick up our raw tongs. These are the tongs that we've been touching the raw chicken with. Over here, I have the tongs for cooked chicken. We're gonna keep these separate because we don't wanna, again, have cross-contamination. We don't wanna spread bacteria, spread salmonella. So these we're gonna keep aside, and we're gonna take this right here, pick up the chicken, and we're gonna put it in the fryer. Probably gonna do about 3 pieces at a time because we don't want to overcrowd the fryer. The fryer is at 360 degrees. I checked that. We're going to put in the legs first because at my house, it's about dinner time. We're running a little bit late and Michael wants to eat, so he eats the chicken legs. We put those in first. Those are going to cook for about 25 minutes at 360 degrees because dark meat takes a little bit longer. The rest you want to do for about 22 minutes or so because they'll cook a little bit quicker. And we have a little bit more room in the fryer, so we can go ahead and add this one more thigh. That way all the dark meat cooks at the same temperature. Get that in. Put this down over here where the raw stuff was. Again, we're keeping it all separate. That's going to fry. In 25 minutes, we're going to have beautiful, beautiful chicken. All right, kids, it's been 25 minutes. We got this first batch of chicken ready to come out. So what do? See the fry basket here? It's another reason why you want a fryer instead of a cooking it in a home pot. Is with a home pot, you don't have this neat fry basket. Those come in handy. So what we're going to do now is take that up like that, put this chicken out on the cooling rack. Once again, we're using different tongs, different rack, so that everything is safe. Pick it all up like this. And we're going to let this stuff cool and let it rest for at least 5 minutes. You want it to rest because like any other meat, once it has heat in it, it has all the juices flying around like crazy. If you try and bite into that now, first you're going to burn your mouth. Second of all the juices are just going to run out on you. They're not going to be nice and distributed through the meat properly. So you want to let it rest. Give it at least a good 5 minutes on the rack. What we're going to do in the meantime is, as you can see, we still have 2 pieces of chicken here. These are the breasts. We got to get these guys in too. So we're going to pick those up again, back to the other tongs, right? See that? Huh? Being safe, being smart, making sure that we don't get salmonella. And that second batch of chicken, because it's the white meat, will cook for 22 minutes. Now we have something here, raw. All this stuff is from raw chicken. We want to get rid of all that. So while this cooks, this rests. Hey Michael, come here. Come here. How's your chicken look, buddy?
It looks good.
Come here. You can't see. Here. What do you think of that?
It looks good.
Oh, it does, doesn't it, buddy? Well, you know what? Give it a few minutes to let it rest so it doesn't burn your mouth. And then Daddy will fix you a plate. It'll be time to eat, okay?
I really want to eat that.
I bet you do. Just give it a few minutes, all right, buddy? Go on, go play. Good boy. He's hungry. So am I. We're going to plate up his food in just a minute. Our chicken is rested, and we're going to set up a plate now because we got to get a plate from Michael. Like I said, it's past his dinner time and he's hungry. So, I have here roasted corn on the cob, fresh mashed potatoes, a roll, and Michael's well-rested chicken, which is right here. Nice 2 chicken legs. Kid's got a big appetite. So, hey Michael, come here. Here is your plate. Carry it very carefully. And go have your dinner, buddy. Alright, so we're about to wrap up the show. But now there's one last thing that has to happen. Because I have to get into this. I can't help myself. I have to have a bite. Mmm. Oh my God. It's crispy. Mmm. Oh, it's crispy. It's juicy. Perfectly seasoned. Got a lot of flavor in it. And that, kids, is Southern fried chicken. It is so good. I hope you learned enough. I hope you make this at home. I really do. We'll see you next time on Cooking with the Snackmaster.